Doctor Strange is a peculiar animal for me. Note my resistance to use the word strange as a descriptor. To immediately address one particular Sherlock Holmes-shaped elephant, I was already getting a little tired of Benelin Bramblepatch as a cultural presence. This was before he died down some, but he was still a sufficient one that you would have thought, of course they'd put him in one of these. Not that I have anything against the man in any way, but it was around the time I was calling him this generation's Johnny Depp. You either know what I meant by that or you wouldn't agree anyway. On the subject of his casting, I find it odd that you'd put Jabberwock Bandersnatch in a movie and not have him speak in a British accent, since that's one of the more recognisable things about him and contributes to the whole voice that doesn't sound like it should be his thing he's got going on. But it's also nice to see they're not just asking Benny Hill Tennis Match to play himself and actually adopt a character, which he does quite well. The score is about consistent with the MCU, though I didn't find it too memorable. The supporting cast is pretty good, with the standout role being Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One. Mads Mikkelsen was as good a villain as he could be with what he had to work with, and really makes the most of his screen time. And the ending was actually pretty ingenious and knocked this a couple of spots higher on the list on that alone. The story is standard MCU fare, elevated by some impressive visuals and a pretty out-there premise. Even in this, Bubble Wrap Lantern Latch comes off a bit like his Sherlock Holmes in terms of arrogance, which is basically his stock persona at this point, but thankfully it doesn't overpower the character. There are no glaring flaws in this film, and it caters just enough to my specific tastes that I've put it higher than I think some might. It should be noted that we're at that point in the list where most of them are pretty close levels of quality, so don't take placements too seriously, this is just how I feel at the moment. Doctor Strange is a pretty fun time and a great visual spectacle, and I imagine it's great to watch while high. Crinkle Chip Blunderhatch.